So the relationship between Stephen Greer and Jacob Barber is a notable one that we have spoken about extensively previously on this channel, as the OG fans would know. Um, this has been a long time happening. They give each other credibility to a certain extent. And it's really interesting to see this come out. Guys, stay till the end because this is a good one, okay? Interact with the video to stimulate the algorithm. It helps out a ton, okay? And this is daily uploads. We're growing this channel. Helping out would mean a ton, and all links down below. But without further ado, get your snacks, get your popcorn, and let's watch this video today.
Skywatcher truly is a technology company that was started because of UAP.
After we turn on the dog whistle, UAPs literally come to us day after day.
Jordan, our sonic lead, came up to me and Alex like, hey, tomorrow we're going to see, a conflict in the sky. We're going to have different UAPs are going to come in, and there's going to be...
He sensed that.
He said that.
Whoa.
A conflict in the sky because of UAP. Like, what does that even mean, right? He got a vision. Is this that so Raven? Like, what the fuck are these visions, right? Is this all part of the telepathy, connected to the consciousness highway, some bullshit, right?
We're seeing multiple classes, 3 classes today. We saw them all with binoculars and or the naked eye, which is really new for us. We've not had that experience in the last 5 years.
These days, since our technology platforms are so high to generate effects they could mimic, and our detection platforms are so well advanced so we could see a lot more, then it really is a zoo of options and possibilities.
And I mean, recently there has been so many things coming out about these advanced instrumentation, instruments where observing chemicals and these instruments being in space, and having all these technical advanced, capabilities. And we really are on the next generation frontier of highly advanced tech. It's just all black right now. But some of it is leaking out, and this is such an exciting time to be making content like this for you guys. Subscribe, notifications on.
We have 3 spectrums, and we see them on radar. Then we get in a helicopter and go chase them, and they evade us, right? But they evade us because the ground can see them evading. From the air, we've never laid eyes on them, right? We're sitting there with binoculars, sitting there with S-Wear cameras. The reason why the electro-optical can see them, cannot, is because that little bit of extra is where they're actually emitting light. I think the government's conflicted right now. I think they have...
Okay, and another thing, right, there's all this light, this spectrum talk about the veil being behind how light is perceived, controlled, and we can't see past a certain point of the light spectrum, and this is all just fascinating. And we are just simple apes who got too smart, who are trying to figure out what our reality is, right? Like, we got eyes, we got our body, and we just wake up here and we don't know much more, and we're just trying to figure out the inner workings of everything, right? But it's fascinating.
Advanced secret physics and knowledge and science.
I agree with you.
That they've had probably since at least the end of World War II.
You know that there's physics knowledge held by aerospace companies that is not
There
known.
certainly is materials knowledge.
Materials, well, okay, material
which
science.
involves topological physics or whatever.
So the material aspect we've heard a lot about as well, right? Meta materials, as Diana Pasolka puts it, where some of these materials have to be made in space, zero gravity. Or you can just create zero gravity on Earth, right? I don't even know. But there's so much talk, and especially Gary Nolan looking at these isotopes and these materials that are built atom by atom. So it's really cool.
What I think a lot of people expect in this subject is for everything to tie together so neatly and perfectly. You know, it's like the things you're seeing in the sky are the things that we have on the ground, are the secret science things, is the consciousness stuff, and it all fits together in this neat thing. And then also space aliens, and they're from Zeta Reticuli, and you're like, oh, it's easy. And in fact, all of those things could be their own disparate threads.
The skies are not classified, and we are seeing things in the skies. Those things seem to be there all the time. Mid-turn, before he could actually turn it to the UAP, the UAP hit us with an energy weapon.
Whoa.
Okay, Jesus Christ, okay? Did you just hear that? So before they attempted at shooting like an EMP-like device weapon, you know, at this thing, it shot at them. Like, how did it detect that it was going to be shot at and targeted like this? It's really interesting. And then you think about the Project Interloper and the government bringing this down, and very rich private entities, you know, hiring private paramilitary to assist in this, just as Jacob Barber was for various types of groups, right?
Class 9.
The Class 9 is the egg.
That's the egg. So this is so fascinating. Is this the hope? Because I spoke to Jake, I think it was in January, and we had a really interesting discussion. He exuded a lot of confidence. He said in 6 months, we're going to get this thing to land.
If all things go well, before, I'm trying not to say a date, but within the first half of 2025, we hope to do a demonstration and invite key members of the public from institutions and demonstrate this, and maybe even get something to the ground. And that's going to answer a lot of questions.
If this event takes place, that would be extremely substantial. And in the first half of 2025, I think he said, that it's becoming that time. So guys, stay subscribed, notifications on. As soon as I hear a hint about more of this, I will be, bringing it to your attention. Really excited. Go check out Jesse Michael's channel. He uploads consistently such good content. It's unreal.
That would be absolutely insane. And I don't know, maybe that's a, Elon Musk style timeline that's a little aggressive or something, but is it? Can you guys get the egg to land? Is that, presumably I would assume that's the hope because of his past experience. I look at some of these other classes, and to me, there's such a gap between like the manta ray or hornet or some of these things and like, a concrete object like on the ground that you can like reverse engineer and fly. So is the hope the egg, and can you guys bring it down pretty quickly, through peaceful psionic means? Or
I have no expectation.
Okay.
I literally don't know.
Yeah.
Like, is the egg a real craft?
Yeah.
Is the thing we imaged with our rudimentary imaging system at the time even there? Mm-hmm. Right? If it is there, can Jordan or someone else control it? Mm-hmm. Right? If they can't control it, are they able to tell it to land and have it land? I would offer in known history that has never happened. Mm-hmm. Right? And if it has happened, it's in a closed program that nobody knows about.
Well, according to Jake, it's happened.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
So show me the money.
Yeah, right.
I'm open-minded.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. I would love for that to happen.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
That'd be wild.
Will it happen?
Yeah.
Will it happen in 6 months? I have no idea.
Yep.
When I like it to, of course I would.
Is that the one you're holding out hope for as far as some sort of retrieval of actual material, or are there others that you feel might be able to, you might be able to derive material from? Or
any of these craft appear to have material and technology that we don't understand. Mm-hmm. So if any of them were to land or crash, that would be very interesting. Mm-hmm.
I think there's an important difference here between something like a material we don't understand, or we understand how to build or make, right, reproduce. So we might know what something is, but we just would not know how to produce it, right? You got to make that distinction.
I can say
Some could be non-physical though. Some are or some sort of plasma ball thing, right?
I accept
yeah.
that could be the case.
Yeah, yeah,
right? Some of them might be holograms or plasmoids or things that if they land, there's molten, the sand turns to glass or metal or whatever.
Right, sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, there's been a lot of plasma talks too. Supposedly some talks about the military being able to do this for some reason, whether it's to cause panic or shock or, it's just something nobody ever sees. And now this fucking plasmoid is causing psychological fear, right? I don't know.
I believe we've seen 4 UAPs crash over the years.
Really?
Yep.
You've seen them crash?
We believe. And I say believe for a lot of reasons. We've seen 3 Class 1s when we were doing, in 2023, when we did something special for the government, the UAPs behaved differently. And we saw about 200 UAPs in a day over a 4-hour period. And they were almost all Class 1s at the time. And they were actually coming, instead of just flying through our airspace, they were coming from directly over us as if from space. So they would come straight down, ingress, and then they would egress out low level away from us. And they did it in 1s and 2s and 3s at a time. We saw about 200 of them total, 200 sorties. The Class 1s that are doing that, that's different, right? So as they were doing that, we saw 3 of them that instead of coming in the low level egressing, came in at an angle from directly overhead and just continued as if to the ground.
Whoa.
And they went below the ridge lines, and we never saw them come up.
Did you go look for them?
Yeah. So it's actually really bad timing. That year we had really epic rainfall. That afternoon, after the show was over, it rained for like 2 days straight.
Oh man.
I had to wait about a week, and then I took a whole crew for a hunt for a cartel drone that had crashed. And we were out there looking for probably 6 or 8 hours. We found nothing. And again, what are we looking for? I'm looking for a glass crystal ball. I'm looking for a cube. Am I looking for a carcass? Like, what am I looking? A tetrahedron? Like, what am I looking for here? No idea. And some of these deserts are extremely rugged. And at the time, I didn't have a helicopter. And then in 2024,
he's got to call up his old pal Jake Barber, our favorite crystal meth looking fucking chopper pilot, right? Why have we not seen more footage from Jake Barber and chopper footage of him picking up eggs if he's done this for this amount of time? Was it confiscated? Does he not have it anymore? What, like, and that original footage was not even his, right?
We saw a Class 8 that started 3,500 meters above us as it came through in its sortie.
This is the Hornet.
Yep. And then finished its sortie just a couple hundred meters over the ground, again, right at terrain level.
Wow.
So we went out this January and flew for probably 2 hours, looking for anything. Again, what are we looking for? I don't know. Extremely rugged and difficult terrain. So we think we've seen them crash without us, to our knowledge, doing anything to cause that. But we have yet to find any wreckage or find anything to show like there is something here.
So fascinating.
So the following clip is not as new, but might be relevant to a certain extent, considering everything happening. So check this out.
I think the biggest news in this world was the Jake Barber interview.
Oh, yes. I've been working with Mr. Barber for a couple of years and knew about his operations. Very little of what he did and knows has come out yet. Very, very little. But that's for reasons we can get into.
Okay, so Jake Barber is an Air Force vet, and a lot of the focus on the story was this egg-shaped craft that he actually came in contact with. This is not someone that was investigating things and so forth. This was actually a first-person encounter with some sort of craft.
No, he was on the retrieval teams officially.
Okay.
Out of the Delta Force. And that team, I'll let him say where they operate from. I've been there. They are a team that are contracted to participate in operations to down and retrieve extraterrestrial vehicles or NHI craft. So that is what he and his team did. He was in charge of security and transport for those special operations out at a couple of black sites out in the desert. And I've been to these sites. And so I can speak to more detail about that. But that is actually what he did. It was not an incidental encounter. He was operational for about 20 years at a couple of these sites where that's going on. And I've known of those sites since the early 90s, since before he arrived. And so his operations go back quite some time there. So he became fairly senior over the years, and he went from being in the military to then working, being set up in a corporate entity that contracted and would sort of work with government and aerospace companies to acquire those craft and then get them downed and then retrieve them so they could be handed over to be studied or reverse engineered. So it's a very long and complex story, only part of which is going to come out immediately. We plan the rest of this year. Next year it'll all come out.
So this particular egg spaceship, I guess, is this extraterrestrial?
Yes.
Or is it reverse engineered?
No, that one was ET origin.
26, life sucks. Riding all day while your buddy's rich and wiped up. And everybody's asking about the kids and when they'll come. Right when you start to enjoy the sun, the winter comes and fucks it up. Will these feelings last